Hello and welcome to this episode of the Guys with Glasses podcast. I'm Bandito John, and we have no name Josh here with us. Nick is currently on a little vacation.
Yeah.
So Josh, how's it going? We haven't talked in a couple weeks.
I know, it's been we've talked. We just haven't talked on here in a couple of weeks.
Well, exciting news, you graduated.
Yes, indeed, I did.
From college. That's amazing.
Yeah, except for I'm going right back into the master's program.
Starting graduate school, though,
Yeah.
so you're busy. So, yeah, I got a little bit of a summer break. Yeah, so that's why we were off last week. But a lot of big news has happened. It's been crazy
I know.
in the video game world.
E3.
We have E3 that happened, and we're going to do some commentary on that. I got The Last of Us, which I've been excited about. I've been talking about that many times on the podcast. And so we'll be talking a little bit about that, too. And then some of our favorite games, I guess, that we saw at E3. So, Josh, what did you think of all the E3 announcements from Sony and from Microsoft and from Nintendo?
Well, Nintendo kind of abstained, but I really liked the Sony the indie stuff that they set up. You know, it's so much better than, well, Xbox completely abandoning the indie games by making everything having to be published.
Yeah, so Microsoft announced that they are not going to allow titles on the platform that do not have a publisher. And they said that they can help become a publisher for games if necessary. But basically, my interpretation of that, it hasn't really been clear, is that there's the indie game service, which is where anybody can pay $100 and then they can publish all the games they want in a year. And, you know, 99% of it's crap, but there has been a few gems out of it. And I think it's a good way, you know, for new games to come out, for people to learn about game development. And sometimes you just get some real cool ones. And then as you just said, yeah, it seems like Sony kind of went the route of they're still continuing to support that, and then they demoed off a lot of indie titles at E3. Well, was there any indie title that you particularly liked?
Not that I saw. Was there anything that you were really interested in?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me at E3, I was actually excited about Titanfall. That was the Xbox One title. That's the big multiplayer game. Did you see that trailer?
I did not see that trailer, actually.
Yeah, so Titanfall, it's kind of it's made by the former Call of Duty people, and it's this game where, like, it's multiplayer. You can get into giant mechs, and you're fighting in an FPS that style. But then you also can get out of the mech and you can go one-on-one and try to, like, take down the giant mechs. And so it really just looks like awesome multiplayer fun. So that one looked really cool. And then I was really excited about the Ubisoft title called The Division. And you saw that trailer, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking of indie games, but there was actually kind of a...
Oh, indie games, yeah.
There was actually kind of a weird-looking game to me that might be kind of fun. It's the Octodad, the Dadliest Catch. It was just a weird game, but it's
Octodad,
so fun.
yeah, that one did look interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happens in it.
You're an octopus and you're marrying a girl. It's just weird. I don't know how to explain it. And that's like...
Yeah, I've seen it before, like on PC, so it's interesting that they're bringing it to consoles now.
Yeah. And I'm excited because Oddworld might make it back, which I loved as a kid. You could control your own farts.
Yeah, Oddworld,
I mean, that's an amazing game right there.
Oddworld, I think, was probably one of my first titles that was kind of dark and kind of morbid, I think, that I played, which is interesting because then that kind of, I mean, that was that phase where, like, I started loving Nightmare Before Christmas and everything. It was interesting. It kind of took a different twist than, like, you know, this classic Mario game was like, you had its, like, very mature kind of dark themes in Oddworld, while also being fun and kind of cute, kind of interesting in its own way. So
yeah,
yeah, that is exciting that they're doing that, like, in an HD version now.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah,
but
there was one that I saw. I think it was called. Damn it! It looked like a little gnome guy. It was really tiny. It was on Xbox, and basically it's kind of like this cave exploring game. I want to say it's called The Abyss, but that's wrong.
Oh, okay. I swear I saw something about it before E3, but yeah.
Yeah, that one looked kind of interesting, but the game developer said that it's going to be ruthlessly hard.
Which is fine with
And
me.
that doesn't make me.
Super Meat Boy was like that.
Yeah, to me that kind of turns it off. Like, I don't like dying all the time. So.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah,
you're just bad at games in general, so.
I am. So, what other titles did you see that you really liked?
Well, I am excited about, obviously, The Division, like you said.
Yeah.
After I watched the trailer, it looks pretty awesome, actually. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that kind of looks like it's like really a AAA title. I mean, just the kind of subtleness of it, like the bullets on where they go through on the glass. It's not like when it goes through a car, it just doesn't go through one spot. Actually, the bullet goes through that exact location where the trajectory would happen. Little things like you walk past the door and you silently close the door. I mean, just like it's that, but it's supposed to be like massively multiplayer. I don't know, if that just means like 64 people, in one map, or if that actually means like a World of Warcraft 1,000 people on one server kind of thing. I'm not sure.
See, I feel like that could be like a nightmare if the maps aren't big enough, if they went MMO style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that game just looked really interesting, really cool.
Yeah.
I like the premise of it. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Watch Dogs, they showed off Watch Dogs again. That's supposed to be coming out later this year.
That's going to be
that
amazing.
game still looks amazing.
Yeah. I agree.
Get that day one. Yeah.
Let's see. What else was I excited for? It's obviously Super Smash Bros. Or, well, I guess it's...
Yeah, so did you see the 2 characters that they announced?
What's the name of the new game?
I'm sure. I think Super Smash Bros. Wii U and Super Smash Bros. 3DS.
That's what it is. I'm like, damn it, I can't remember it for the life of me.
Yeah, the uncreative title, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I should have remembered since it was so crappy.
So, Smash Brothers is the title that always makes me get the Nintendo system. And I played a ton of Brawl on Wii, but I never thought it was as good as Melee. And it's interesting because I guess, like, I've been kind of reading closely on from the developer on it. He said like Melee was super fast and for the hardcore gamer, and then Brawl was much slower and kind of meant for the casual gamer. So he wants this game to kind of be in the middle of that. So that's cool. It looks like they're kind of going back to kind of the hardcoreness.
I would prefer it to be in the middle. Melee was so freaking tight, and like you had to be really good to play it. And I mean, for like, the random person who comes over, it's not very fun if it's hard.
Yeah. But big news is that they announced Mega Man. That's gonna be
yeah. Those games have always been so punishingly hard that I've never been able to finish them. I don't think I've ever finished one of them.
Game?
No, the Mega Man. But you're talking about as a playable character. Sorry, I got all off track by thinking about Mega Man.
Yeah, I know. I've owned a couple of Mega Man games, like Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Zero, and yeah, they are super duper hard.
Yeah. But anyway,
they were never really my cup of tea, but I know that people do love them.
Sorry, I off tracked us from that. It was.
Oh yeah, no problem.
It was him and
that is relevant.
And who else got added to the roster?
Oh, Villager from Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's right.
I'm excited about.
Right.
Yeah, Villager looks amazing. I love all the internet memes that are going around making him kind of look like he's a psycho because of his face. Like looking off to the side, like he's like this really cute character, but then where he has like an axe and stuff. And then on an interesting turn of events, they announced the Wii Fit Girl. The person who helps you do all the exercises.
I didn't even see that.
Which is interesting.
That's weird.
And I like that turn of events. I'm glad they did it. I think that's what's great about Smash Bros. Is that they go out of left field for choosing characters. And even though I might not play with that character that often, I still think it's interesting that they, are in the universe.
I know. Yeah, that's a strange one to be there, just to be.
Yeah. It's kind of like Rob, the robot, the classic robot that was in Brawl.
Game & Watch. That's it.
Yeah, Game & Watch. Yeah, that's always fun. And but one thing I'm not looking forward to actually is I own a 3DS, but the 3DS version, I don't know, it just didn't seem as good. It just not being in high definition as the Wii U version. But then also they said that they're gonna have the same character roster, and because the 3DS is limited in capacity and size, the Wii U version is gonna be limited. And I think that sucks that they're nerfing the Wii U version just to try to have the same roster.
I think that's stupid. Also, you know.
Yeah.
I understand it because people would flip the shit out if they weren't getting the same thing as they were on the console.
Well, to me, like, if they had different characters, then I would get both. But because it's going to be the same characters just with different levels, I don't care. And I'll just get the Wii U version.
Are you going to get the Wii U version or the 3DS?
I don't know. What do you plan on it, Josh?
What was that?
Do you plan on getting the 3DS version?
No, because I don't have a 3DS. And it'll probably be just as cheap to get a Wii U as it will be to get a 3DS.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm still waiting for a price drop on Wii U.
Oh yeah.
I don't have one yet, but that game will make me get one. So
I don't know. I'm just disappointed all the way around with the Xbox One.
With the announcements that happened?
With just everything. Anything that they've talked about, I've been like, meh. I mean, other than the fact that the end of Microsoft Points is coming. I mean, I'm excited for that.
That is a good move.
But other than that, everything that I've heard is just like meh, or I hate. It just makes me sad.
Yeah, I know.
I love my 360, and they're killing my soul with their new setup.
I know. It seems like I mean, I've read the news closely, and I can see the vision of where they're trying to go with this, but. The thing is that, I mean, for gamers out there that have bad internet connections, and there's millions of those people, it's an easy choice. And then if somebody wants to buy and sell their used games, and they do that a lot, then it's an easy choice. Or if people that want to save the most money and they want to get a $400 console versus $500 console, it's an easy choice. So, I don't know. I mean, those are three big reasons, for getting a PS4 over an Xbox.
See, I feel like this console generation is going to be completely flipped. Like, last generation, Sony somehow fell behind, and that was because they had a higher price. And now we're going to go that route, except for we're not only going to have a higher price, we're going to add a bunch of they're going to add a bunch of stupid shit in that you have to do, like the Kinect always being there, and you have to check in they don't even know what the hell's going on with that. Depends on which executive you talk to. Depends on if you get every 24 hours or no, it's not there, or it'll be every 15 minutes. It's just...
Yeah, it seems like they've had like a mixed message on what the policies are.
It's ridiculous. What they should have done was sat down beforehand with somebody who had like a piece of paper that said, this is exactly what we're doing. Don't go from this. I don't know. It's just...
Yeah.
It just shows that Microsoft has no idea about what they're doing, essentially.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they had a clear message, and so that's confusing for gamers. I mean, at E3, I mean, it's the big event, out of the year. You can't dismiss someone just, for an entire console generation based on one trade show. But there is a lot of people that are going to be basing, their winter and Christmas buying on how this went and their policies. And I think Microsoft hasn't done a clear message as to how this is all going to work out. And because of that, there's millions of pre-orders that are already happening for PlayStation.
Yeah. It's just, the things they've done is just stupid. I don't know why you need a Kinect always there. Because I hate the thing. I hate it now, and I'm certain I'll hate it later. And it's going to make me even more angry to have it on. I always have it, pointed away from me. Now I'm going to have to put it in, the, what is that thing in, oh, man, I can't remember it. Get Smart. It's the thing that comes down that you can't hear through. Oh man, I can't remember.
The phone?
No, I can't remember. Whatever. I know what I'm talking about, but I'm just gonna have to put it in this box so it can't, do anything in there. It's not that I think that they're going to listen in on conversations. It's the fact that I don't want them to.
Yeah, I know, but what you're saying, I mean, like the fact that you have this Kinect now that's always listening, and I mean, they say that you can control the privacy on it, and you
Yeah,
can
but that doesn't
control
stop
what
them
it
from
records.
just
But
doing what Facebook does. Oh, an update came. We reset all your security settings, and boom, you're right back to where you started, without knowing about it.
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that pans out. I mean, yeah, the fact that like you always have a camera, you always have a microphone that's listening in on your house. I mean, I know people have been worried about that with cameras from their consoles, for a long time. But in this case, you can't turn it off.
Yeah.
Or, by default, it stays on. So yeah, that's different.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like I said, it's not that I think they're going to with me myself, but I mean, it's the fact that they can if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's just it's
Yeah.
annoying that they can. It's I don't know. I'm going to be buying a PS4 to be honest.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this pans out. And like, I mean, I have 0 friends on my PlayStation, and I have like 80 friends on my Xbox, and I wonder if this is gonna flip over. If everybody's gonna be getting PlayStations out of this.
I think people will, because PS4 has indie games. It's more like a PC where it's kind of open, while like Microsoft is trying to go the route of like a Mac product or something, except for even stricter than that. I mean, it just
Yeah, they're taking this route where like basically you get a license and you transfer licenses versus having and owning a physical product. When that's, I mean, licenses are how Apple iTunes works. I mean, you can't trade the MP3s that you get.
yeah.
And you're not supposed to sell your iPod that you have with all your games on it. But so Microsoft is kind of taking an approach where like you still have licenses, but you can trade those. But I mean, this is a tough decision when your competitor can just you still own that physical disc. You can still trade that physical disc. They haven't decided to do that this generation. So
Did you see the PlayStation used game instruction manual?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, like with the video, and then they just like handed it over. Yeah, I mean, that was a good video, and it went viral.
It's got like 12 million views already. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, taking the stance of Steam. I mean, Steam, you have a license that you get, and that license is tied to your account. What's nice is that you can you can sign in anywhere on any PC. You always have your games; they're always tied to your account. But there was a lot of hoopla, when that came out. I mean, there was people that were arguing about that and that you couldn't trade games and everything. But what they did that was smart is, I mean, they had 95% off sales, where you could get like these awesome games that are a couple months old, for $5 or $10. And I mean, when you get these super awesome sales, and that's because you're not doing all these used games, then that's a win for gamers, and that's a win for the businesses, the fact that they're selling more licenses.
Yeah.
I don't know if Microsoft is going to go to that extreme where they're going to have, $10 games.
I don't think so. Let's be honest.
I don't think so either.
Microsoft always decides to take like the worst bits from every good idea and then put it to practice.
Yeah. I mean, so that's, like one thing that's good is that they said that they're going to have games cost $60 still, so they're not going to increase the cost of games. That's good, because historically every new generation they increase the game prices.
Well, except for when the PS1
I mean, $60
came out.
is still a lot.
They fell. I said except for when the PS1 came out, they fell dramatically.
Oh yeah, what was PS1 game price?
$30.
$30 in like $1992 or whatever.
Yeah, but the Nintendo games were like $100. So, I mean.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, that was also disc versus cartridge.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but all of a sudden Nintendo changed their tune of, it costs us so much more to make a cartridge, and now they were selling it for, $5 or $10 more than the PlayStation was. It was like, that disappeared a lot. I mean, really, Nintendo just had a way to make huge profit margins, and PlayStation just decided, we're gonna cut them off at the knees, kind of situation.
Yeah, but then PlayStation games. I mean, PlayStation sold a lot more than 64. So.
Oh yeah, well that's exactly why.
Yeah.
Um.
So.
Anyway, back on topic. How do you feel about the always online thing? I mean, yeah. Are
It
you
doesn't affect me because I always do have an internet connection, and I'm not one of the ones that have a poor connection. But I can see how this could be a big deciding factor for people. They say that they're just updating their licenses once every 24 hours, which is just a few kilobytes. So it's really not the bandwidth, but it is the time frame. And I really think that some people were talking online, and I think this would be a great policy if they had this that said, if you have a disc inside of your console, you don't need to check in every 24 hours for your license because you have that physical disc. But if you want to install the game completely to the hard drive and the disc is no longer used and you can just keep the disc, in its case, then in that case you do have to do authentication every 24 hours because you're not checking in with that disc.
See, that's
to me
fine.
That policy would make sense. Yeah.
That makes
because then there's
sense.
Yeah, because then it's best for both worlds. But yeah, I think in this case it's not going to affect me, but I can see how it could piss off a lot of people.
Well, I just don't like it because if you don't have an internet connection, your console's a brick. Might as well use it as a doorstop. It doesn't do shit for you.
And I think that message is clear with the E3, gamers that have been following this news. I don't think that's going to be clear with, mom and pop that are going to be buying those games for little Timmy on Christmas morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, like my parents. That's why Nick's not with us, is because he's out there in Idaho, and they only have, I think it's like 10 gigs of bandwidth per month that they can use. So
yeah,
that's just a tiny amount.
I mean that's a problem. Like some people, they're paying for basically per gigabyte. So those are the people that aren't necessarily going to be watching Netflix, because that would just take up too much bandwidth, or playing a lot of online games. But there's still single player games that come out, great ones, and there's still the TV experiences and everything that are awesome that aren't expected to use up a lot of bandwidth. But then, basically you're screwing them out by saying you always have to be connected.
Well, the problem is that, like out with my parents' house, it's like spotty though. You get 10 gigs per month, but if a ton of people get on at once, it constantly crashes their internet. It's just set up so terribly out there. I keep telling them to do 4G, but it's just a nightmare trying to get them to do anything new.
Yeah, and I mean 4G also isn't everywhere. I mean 3G covers a lot of the country, but yeah, if you live in rural areas, I mean those aren't covered.
Well, actually they are, which is shocking. But they are.
For 3G?
It's like pulling teeth to try to get them to do 4G. It drives me insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to talk about Last of Us?
I wanted to talk. Oh yeah, so you haven't got it yet, so I won't talk about any of the gameplay aspects. Or you can borrow it from me because I'm probably gonna beat it here in like the next week. But it is the most amazing game I think I've played in years. Don't read anything about it. Just get it if you have a PlayStation 3. It's an exclusive, and it is like a cinematic gameplay masterpiece. It is like just the acting, the storytelling, the CG videos that come up. It's all just top notch. It is awesome.
God, I love frickin' Naughty Dog, dude. Been amazing since day one, from Crash Bandicoot till The Last of Us. I am.
I was reading something on Reddit, and I thought this was kind of interesting. They were kind of saying that Naughty Dog, when they first came out with Crash Bandicoot, let's say their target audience, was I don't know, just letting this out there. Let's say like 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
Around there, and then they came out with was it Jak and Daxter?
Yeah,
I think. And then they came out with Uncharted, and now they come out with Last of Us. And what's interesting is that over this 10-year period, basically their games have been made for people that are kind of around that age.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like the games have gotten just more and more mature, and Last of Us is definitely not a game for kids. Kids should not watch it. It is super ultra violent, but it is just like the storytelling is just awesome. It is just an amazing game, and it really touches on like really mature, interesting themes. I mean, if you like Walking Dead or like Game of Thrones, it shows where like it is gritty, it is violent, but there's reasoning behind those actions. Then Last of Us is really up your alley. It just, oh my god, it's just so amazing. Josh, you need to get the game so we can talk about it.
I'm excited for it. So what you're saying is it a definite buy?
Oh, definite buy. Like don't even read a review on it. Just go get it. It's just amazing.
I am super excited to play it, and I will be getting it tomorrow. I just lost the date. I didn't realize, it was already so deep in the month, and I am so excited.
I took off of work early on Friday to go out and go get the game. Hopefully none of my coworkers are listening, because that was awesome. And then I ended up playing almost all weekend. I'm probably about maybe about 70% of the way through the game, so I'll finish it up this week. But man,
this is gonna be one of the games you finish. Now I know it's good. It is.
Yeah.
If you're gonna finish it, it's a great game.
Yeah. Apparently there's multiplayer in it. I didn't even try the Uncharted multiplayer. I don't know if I'm gonna try this one, but I mean it's just get the game, Josh, so we can talk about it next week.
I'm excited for it. You know what I'm really disappointed about is we have to wait a year for Game of Thrones. I am sad.
I know.
Ugh.
I know.
Man, so we gotta think up.
But The Killing is back on TV.
Yeah, it is, and I haven't seen it. I need to catch up. I saw the first episode, and I have not seen any of the other ones. And I think they're at episode 4 now or something.
I'm happy that's right. And Breaking Bad is coming back. Woo! I saw a commercial for it.
I know, dude. It's coming out in August 11th.
Oh man, we're gonna be talking about that on future episodes of the podcast.
Oh, indeed we will. It'll be so amazing. It's the last 8 episodes. Oh, I'm so excited. And it is going to be insane.
Oh, I'm so looking for. I was thinking about rewatching like the first half of the last season.
Oh,
just to kind of get caught back.
I'm gonna watch probably the whole last season before I watch this new one. Holy crap, man! I'm excited. Whew.
Just leaves on such a good cliffhanger.
I know, and if anybody listening has not heard or not watched, Breaking Bad, you need to crawl out from underneath the rock you've been living under and find a person with either Netflix or I don't care if you Pirate Bay that crap. You need to watch that show. It is so amazing.
Good. Oh, it is so good.
It's like that and Game of Thrones are probably my top TV shows, man.
I think so. You got me into watching Breaking Bad.
Yep.
And I think I got you into watching Game of Thrones, right?
Indeed, you did. I had not seen anything in it. I don't know why I didn't get interested in it. I like fantasy, but the other one who told me it was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I think me and my wife, like, we came over to your house and we were like, dude, you got to watch Game of Thrones. And you kind of sat down, you kind of watched an episode. And then what's interesting is that Game of Thrones, like, it doesn't really pull you in on that first episode. I mean, it kind of does, but it takes a couple episodes before you kind of start understanding, like, characters and what's going on.
That's what drives me nuts about people is they won't dig past that first episode. It's like, this is all character introduction. Like with Breaking Bad, it takes 3 episodes to get into it, but once you're into it, it is a freaking wild ride.
Yeah, and what I love about Breaking Bad is I feel like every episode just gets better and better.
Oh, yeah.
And with Game of Thrones, it's like every episode just leads up to like the cliffhanger at the end of the season, and then it just drops off and then you have to wait a year.
Oh my god, dude. I was so upset. I love Arya, though. I will say that. She's amazing. Arya and the Hound are hilarious.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's gonna be a weird dynamic.
Yeah. Because she kind of hates him, but then like he's also like kind of taking care of her.
I think in the end she'll forgive him for the whole butcher's boy thing.
I think so.
I think he's kind of being like the father figure that... I think he feels bad about what happened to Ned. So.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that he does what he's told.
Yeah.
You know, and now in this case where he actually has an option to do what he wants and to make his own decisions, he's actually not such a horrible guy, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
He's still doing things kind of through selfish reasons. I mean, he's returning her, you know, for money, but like, I mean, he is like protecting her, you know, and
yeah, but he's not returning her for money anymore. He still protected her and saved her because he's never going to get that money now that, you know, the whole red wedding thing happened.
Oh yeah.
So.
Not the red wedding that's happened.
Oh my God. Cassie cried. I
cool.
was on the verge of crying. It was terrible.
Oh man, yeah, that was intense. I was not expecting that.
What else did you want to talk about? You were about to say something earlier, but I cut you off.
We could talk about New Leaf, Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Oh, I know you're excited for that. I mean, Maggie did make you buy her the 3DS Animal Crossing thing, so.
Yeah, the special edition 3DS for that game. Man, the 3DS XL is so much better than the regular 3DS. I'm jealous. So now we have a 3DS, and we got a 3DS XL, and the XL is so much better. It has a much bigger screen. The 3D is much better in it. You don't have to be exactly right on it, and yeah, it's just and overall feels better in your hand. Better material. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't even played New Leaf because my wife has taken it and she has stolen it and she's addicted to it. She loves that game.
Yeah. I could see Maggie really getting into that game.
Yeah, we were kind of joking that it's like the opposite of The Last of Us. I mean, you have like this
so cute.
Nice, calming game, like no end, you know, and then you have like this cinematic storyline for Last of Us. So, yeah.
Oh man. So we've been moving all my stuff out of my other closet, or from my closet into the empty room that Nick was in. Cassie was just making fun of me about how nerdy I am because I keep all the empty boxes and stuff to put all my old stuff back into.
She's making fun of you about what?
About being so nerdy because I have all these.
Oh yeah.
I have all these empty boxes that are for like my Xbox 360, my Xbox original, my PS2.
Yeah, I still keep my boxes too.
Well, in the future, you know what's going to be worth the most money? Not the freaking console, but the box. That's what I told her.
Yeah, but everybody throws them out.
Yeah, no one keeps them. It's like, I have the 007 box. I bet you that's worth way more than the game.
But the problem is, it's not worth anything until you sell it. You know, so it's taking up all this room in your house.
I know, and that's essentially what she was telling me. She's like, I'm like, 20 years from now, you're going to rue the day that you gave me a bunch of shit about this. But she's like, yeah, well, 20 years I get to give you crap about it, so.
But then, you know, what's interesting is that with Xbox One stuff, it's like, what happens when the servers go down 20 years from now? How do you still play your games?
Well, the servers are going to go down a long time before that, let's be honest. It's going to be like
that's true. That's true.
4 years into its, you know, into the next console, or maybe even less.
Yeah, so what do? Do they say that
they'll have to change the policy? They'll have to like release a firmware update that just essentially unlocks your console.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't, that is a huge dick move. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, you know what sucks is that, I mean, with like these Xbox Live Arcade titles, I mean, this generation was our first one where we had all these downloadable games, and now we have all these great 360 titles, and they're just gonna get lost, you know?
Well,
like they're not on discs, and so you can't download them anymore.
I'm just gonna download all of them. Well, I already have them all downloaded to my hard drive, but I will make sure that they are downloaded to consoles so that I can play them in the future.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still like there's thousands of titles there, you know, like great titles that you just never have the opportunity to even try to play later.
I am shocked they're not gonna roll them over. I don't know why it's such a big issue. I mean, you would think that the architecture would be similar enough.
my understanding is it's due to the architecture with being that PowerPC architecture versus x86 on what they're transferring over. I mean, basically, like, these games were developed for totally different compiling, different software structures. So I don't know. I don't really understand it, but it sucks.
Yeah. Whatever. I guess we got a couple of years to fill a couple of consoles worth of games.
Yeah.
But I am excited. Did you see everybody talking about the Microsoft points going away? Because it said that they were going to turn them into money equal to or greater than what you paid for it.
I think it's a slim chance in hell that it's going to be greater, but that's just my
I agree,
assumption.
but everybody's like, run to Amazon and buy all the cheaper or the reduced price points cards so that you get, more money.
Well, how much cheaper are they?
I don't think they're that much cheaper, but still.
I mean, yeah, are you saving like $2 or something,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. People are going crazy about it, apparently. I'm sure
so
Amazon's happy.
Yeah, so they're going to have $500 in points, and then the cash value will be like $510. Not worth all the trouble, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be pretty funny.
We're talking about Microsoft that gives away 25 cents on your 1-year anniversary of having Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft is not known for their generosity with money.
Generosity with anything, really, let's be honest. I mean, they're stingy about, trials. Cassie's trial ran up for some reason in the middle of, her final for her computer literacy class. And they were like, nope, you can't get another code. It was ridiculous.
What?
Yeah. Because you have to buy the trial from the school.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. She's like, all I need it for is 10 days. Yeah, it was stupid.
That's bullshit. Bastards.
Exactly. But luckily, she was able to go on YouTube and get a freaking code so that it worked.
Nice. That's resourcefulness.
Well, yeah, that's where I always go. I lost the code to the stupid software that came with my game capture little device.
Uh-huh.
And they wanted you to pay money. And I'm like, I registered this product and you send me the serial number, but it's not the right serial number for this different software that's bundled into your device. It doesn't make any sense. I emailed the people and they're like, that should work. But every time I punched it in, it said it was wrong. So
oh my god.
I had to go to YouTube, and guess what I found? A code that worked. So they can eat it.
Well, Josh, I think for this episode, it has reached its conclusion. But next week, I do want to talk about The Killing. I want to talk about Last of Us.
Oh, we will definitely talk about Last of Us.
Yes.
And
I also want to talk more about E3 and your thoughts on some of the trailers that came out, maybe Titanfall and some of the other Ubisoft games.
Well, I will have some more time this week, so I will sit down and actually watch some stuff so that I'll be prepared for next week.
Nice. All right. Well, in that case, then, this is Bandito John.
This is No Name Josh. And we'll see you later. Are you going to say something weird, John? Like adios?